Okay, welcome to council time, January 24th. We have everyone on board. And Amber's still here as the assistant manager. Pardon? Kathleen's on as well. I hope all is well. I don't see you, but I'm assuming you are there. All right, well, let's go immediately to public comment on agenda items only. Do we have anyone signed up?
Mayor, my name is Kimberly Goheen Elben, life citizen of Clark County, Washington, and an active patriot against the tyrannical government in America. I'll be speaking on the minutes of January 17th that you have here on your agenda. On those minutes, I had mentioned numerous times as to why there was no Board of Health meeting for over 4 months. You have not yet addressed that. And since you're the same council, which I find contradictory, I'm asking today, and put it on record, why it took 4 months for a very important Board of Health meeting, of which I was not able to speak on, even though I was on the phone, pushing the *3, *3, *3, and Mr. Medvedji did not ask if there's any more callers. He just went and closed the meeting. So I am going to put my written message on for today, and I want it to put on record for the Board of Health meeting, today's meeting here at the council meeting, and then send it to all council members. It's been mentioned by other community members, I believe also on this date, that this happens quite a bit, that it's obvious for past records of all of last year. Many times this council does not want to hear from the public. I don't have anything more to say other than I came down to put my, what should have been public comment this morning at the Board of Health meeting, and I was not called. That's happened quite a bit, and there's going to be a problem. God bless America. Let's make it godly again. Thank you.
And as always, I will ask, are there any more callers? Do we have anyone else online? Okay, and we don't proceed to close public comment until we've heard that there is no one else to comment. So we'll move on to old business, which are the minutes of the 17th of January.
I move approval of the minutes.
I second that.
Any further comments?
Yes, Chair, I would suggest an amendment to the minutes. My name is spelled incorrectly up at the top. Other than that, I would support moving forward with them.
That change, any objection to amending to correct the spelling? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion carries. New business, 3.1. There's a work plan draft input for Deeb.
Hello? Oh, there we go. Okay. Councilors, for the record, Jordan Bogie, Senior Policy Analyst. We have gotten a request from DEEB, the Development Engineering Advisory Board, for any councilor input as they put together their work plan for the year of 2024. And so I think I sent an email to council a couple of weeks ago and have received some feedback from councilors, so thank you for that. I'm sure Deeb will appreciate that input, but just wanted to get that on your radar as a request from them that if there's anything you'd like to see in that work plan moving forward, please do send it to me so that I can share with them. And also, I will thank you to Councilor Marshall for sending me last year's work plan which was attached to their 2022 annual report. I'll also share that with the rest of council as well.
Thank you for that, and I do actually have a hard copy sitting on my desk. And the one comment I had focused on is a very narrow issue, but it's something that I raised as a proposal many months ago, but I don't think we've ever publicly discussed it. So here's the narrow issue for DEEP. There are sometimes conflicts between, let's say, a developer and our permitting office on what our code actually requires or means. And sometimes that impasse will go on for many, many months and maybe not even get resolved. The issue for me as a counselor is if we have that kind of vagueness in a code that people could reasonably differ on what it means, then that should come to us for amendment to change. What DEEP, and I talked to DEEP about this a while ago, they said it's within their portfolio to resolve those technical differences. So what I had proposed that we put it to them. So if there is a conflict in code interpretation that isn't readily resolved by staff within a period of time, that it goes to DEEP for their recommendation on what the code means. And perhaps they could even make a recommendation on any amendment that would be required. So I think it's a valid use of their time. It would serve our permitting process. Again, it's a very narrow area. It doesn't come up very often. But DEEP was enthusiastic that they said, one, they have the expertise. Two, it's already in their ordinance to perform that kind of work on behalf of the county permitting office. So I'm hoping, that was my suggestion, that I hope that we can talk about that and see if we can move that idea forward. Sue, you were going to push your button, I thought?
Well, just in response to that, I think, I wonder if it's already on their radar screen. I know there were questions about the landscaping and recreation area, and I don't know how that, I think it got resolved that the permitting department said what their interpretation held, and I don't think it's come back to us, but I wonder if just in their process of doing business, they see where there are, you know, kind of reoccurring problems in a particular area. I'd be concerned about every issue that might come up going through DEEP and kind of overriding. I would just see there could be conflicts with
Yes,
the implementation.
So to clarify, I'm not
permitting.
talking about every issue. I'm talking about a timeline for approving a permit, a timeline that then raises the hue and cry. Hey, if there's a difference in opinion on interpretation of a code, it would be like an appellate process on a limited number of issues where there is a conflict of interpretation to move a permit along. So it hasn't been adopted. It's still out there. It's never been discussed publicly, as far as I know. That's why I raised it again. Other?
Chair?
Yes, please.
I have a comment. That occasionally has come up in my district as well with different things like additions and ADUs in particular. And I really like that idea. I support that.
So any other comments or questions for our policy analyst, advisor extraordinaire?
I may have already mentioned these to you, but I think in particular related to the comp plan update, the housing element, I know in the preliminary numbers that we've seen, the AMI 0 to 80%, very much a deficit, it looked like across the board. If there's something they can do to help advise us, and it would be beneficial to all the cities as well. And then the climate change I think I had that last time on my recommendations. So, and I see that the comp plan update is in a large part there, but those are a couple of issues that are new to us, and if they can help us out in some of those areas, that would be great.
Anything else you need from us, Jordan, today, or do you have enough to move forward?
I think I've got enough to move forward today. And so just if anyone else who hasn't provided any feedback to this point wants to do so, maybe before next Wednesday, I can collect all of the guidance that I've gotten from individual counselors about what they're interested in, and then present that back to council to get a formal group policy recommendation of what they'd like to see moving forward.
I do just have one follow-up question. Will Deeb be coming back to us, like for an annual report and show us their new work plan? Usually, okay, great,
Yeah,
thanks.
I don't know if that's scheduled yet, but I do know that that's the plan.
If that's it for your old business, or new business, rather, we'll go to council reports. I would just say that before we started this meeting, we had a very brief discussion about when we're going to schedule our retreat, because it's getting pushed. It's problematic. It always is to get it on everyone's schedule. So it's happening a little bit later than I think we had all hoped. And as a result, finalizing all of our board assignments is getting within a time constraint too. So I think what I heard is we're going to try to get it on a council meeting so we can finalize all the alternate positions, as well as put on the record that Sue Marshall has volunteered to do law and justice, and I'll step off. Someone needs to volunteer for CJC, and I don't know what other assignments were still up in the air. But anyway, we'll put that on as an agenda item next week so we can better finalize it. I don't have any other council reports. Does anyone have a council report?
Chair.
Just for
Please, go ahead, Glenn.
clarification.
Yes.
You're next.
Okay, I just wanted to give a brief report on the RDPO, which is the Regional Disaster Preparedness Organization. And last week we had a meeting, and it was discussing the budget, and there was quite a bit of conversation. They have burned through some of their reserve funding, and so they're looking at a way to be able to build that reserve back up, and that is looking at changes to the amounts that the different jurisdictions pay to be a part of the organization. It's one of those organizations that nobody has to pay to be a part of it, and they still will technically be a part of it, but it is really our duty to make sure to fund our portion of it, since we do benefit from it. But we're going to have we send it back that we did not approve their budget because there was some more communication that needed to take place and discussion around what should the reserves be. And then there's always the discussion of what is the organization doing, and is that productive, and what what helps us with our needs here in Clark County, as well as all the other jurisdictions that are a part of it. So I just wanted to update everybody on that, and then I will bring an update again after there's some further discussion and clarification on how they plan to move forward with that.
Okay, thanks, Glenn. How about Karen? Did you have a
Question.
council report?
Just a question. You said that you were interested in having the retreat on a day that we have a meeting normally scheduled, a council meeting. Sounds like a great idea so that we can get it done. What date were you thinking of?
Okay, I actually was saying about putting on an agenda next week just to finalize our assignments. we were scheduling the retreat for, I think, the 7th and 8th, but I had a conflict on the 8th. So I think we're still looking at dates. We don't have any specific dates yet.
Hmm.
We currently have a couple options. One would be the 7th and then the 16th, or the 16th and the 20th. And this is due to conflicts on, mostly on counselor calendars. So those are but we'll put on next week's agenda.
The 20th looks good because that's a Tuesday where normally we would all be free. But that's waiting another month. So it'd be nice if we could get it many, many days before then.
So I personally am open to being scheduled anytime that I'm actually here. I had 2 vacations scheduled, and that one of them conflicted. So whatever we can work out, I'm open to. I'm one of the few that are retired here, kinda.
How about this?
Anything else, Karen? I'm sorry.
No, how about the 6th?
Kristen's looking.
We have a council meeting on the 6th in the morning.
That's why I was thinking that might be a good retreat day.
So to do it like in the afternoon so that we can still have the council meeting.
Whatever, something like that, and then make it a short council meeting. But just to get it done. The retreat. Because if we've
And
got aside, that'd be good.
I am peeking at calendars, and it does look like, according to everyone's calendar, everyone is free until 4. If that is what you would like to do, we definitely can. I originally didn't pick it because I didn't know if everyone wanted such a long day, but I understand if we need to get it done.
And I'm concerned if we do put it back to back with another council meeting, I mean, you never know how long a council meeting is going to be. If there's some hot topic out in the community and they organize a lot of public comment, I mean, there's just no way to guarantee that we'll have a short meeting before the scheduled retreat.
I know,
Anyway,
Chair Mevaji and I have the RTC meeting later that day. And I think we've been late to that a couple of times because the council meeting can go late that day.
Yeah, so I think that would be well, we're all on, 3 of us are on RTC, so thanks for bringing that up. So, Karen, let's just take this offline. We'll put it back to the manager and Kristen and other calendar manipulators, and we'll see if we can come up with the best date.
Good luck.
Other councilor reports? Okay, I'm not hearing any, so we have work session requests.
So Chair Mevaji, we have a work session request from Clean Water Division to discuss the Lacamas Watershed interlocal agreement with council. This is requested for February 7th so that they can meet with council prior to the work session that's going to be with the city of Camas in the end of February. So we have a short kind of turnaround for that, but that's the request that we have in front of us.
Well, I am certainly very interested in pursuing this, and I did hear from Devin that it's Ecology is concluding their multi-year study on the Lacamas watershed. So that should be readily available as well, because I don't know if it's going to impact this agreement. It possibly could. So is everyone else in favor of this work session?
Sure.
I'm in favor of it, but I do think it would be good for us to take a look at that study in advance.
Great.
So does anyone know, is it concluded? I mean, it was supposed to conclude in December. I know it was still dragging on a little bit. And then our Clean Water Division was going to review it for the high points. I'm not sure where we are in that process.
Last I heard from Devin is that they were still waiting for the conclusion, but it was supposed to be soon. So for them to be able to do their review. I don't know if it'll be done by the 7th when we have the work session, but I'll connect with Devin. She's out of the office today, and I'll circle back for that.
Yeah, so I agree with Councilor Marshall. I mean, I think it may or may not directly impact this agreement with Camas, but I suspect it will or may.
Sure.
So we just have to be careful on the timing.
I will mention that to Devin, and we'll get this scheduled, and hopefully we can hear back by then.
Okay, Karen and Glenn, are you in favor of moving forward?
Yes.
Okay, thumbs up. Thank you very much. And that's all you needed from us today, correct? All right. Policy updates.
Good afternoon, councilors. Jordan Bogie again for the record. Just a few things to share with you today related to some legislation working its way through the state right now that Dave Fuller, our CRESA director, has asked me to share with you. I don't think there's any decisions that need to be made today. It's a little bit just more of an update for you. The first that they're following is SB 5808-5808, and it regards interest arbitration. And essentially, what this bill would do is treat public safety telecommunicators, so think the folks that are running dispatches for offices, I would treat them the same as uniformed personnel for the purposes of collective bargaining or contract disputes or anything like that. WASAC does have concerns about the bill related to potentially greater expenses and time related to finding arbitrators, going through that process. It's a little bit more lengthy. I think that bill just had a hearing last week. I'm not sure if it's going to move out of committee yet or not, and so that's one that we're following. And then the other one that CRESA asked me to share with you is HB 2258, and so it's related to a 911 call excise tax, and so the county has an excise tax on 911 call taking activities. And so essentially what this bill would do is when, so we have the county regional 911 dispatch. If someone calls in, the county takes a call, they transfer it to a local municipality. So let's say they transfer it to the city of Vancouver. This bill would transfer a portion of that excise tax that is collected to the municipality to support their services. And so one of the things that's important to note with that is that it is distinct from actually sending out services. So, the call is sort of in one accounting bucket, and then the actual dispatch is in another accounting bucket. And so there's essentially what the bill would do is there's a formula which basically would share some of that 911 call excise tax revenue with municipalities based on like what percentage of them are getting sent down to the municipal level from the regional level. There's a formula. It's basically total tax dollars divided by the total number of 911 calls times the number of calls that are transferred into the municipality times 0.8 or 80%. And so I know the sheriff's office is reviewing these bills, CRESA is following these bills, but I was just asked to share with you. So that's something our emergency response folks are currently following. And then the other update I have for you is from Vanessa Gaston, our Director of Community Services. She is up at a providers meeting in Olympia currently, and they are interested in trying to support legislation that would have the state step in to help support the shortfall in document recording fees that local jurisdictions are seeing. As I understand it right now, there is not a bill currently working its way through any of the committees that I can specifically respond to. But as those conversations continue, that's something that's going to be of interest and would impact us pretty significantly if the state were willing to help us make up some of the reduced document recording fees that we're getting. And so those are my legislative updates for you today.
Questions or comments by counselors? That's good news about the document recording fee. But we still have a ways to go through the legislative session to see how things morph and what gets out of committee or not. But at least that's good news. Go ahead,
I
Councilor
have
Marshall.
a question related to the 911 excise tax. So if a percentage goes to the responding jurisdiction, so does that take away from that will take away from the 911 provider?
That's correct. So it would take some of the revenue that right now is being retained by the county and would transfer that, based on call volume to the local municipalities.
Sounds highly technical, and I'm wondering how someone even thought of doing it. So where did the problem get initiated? Is this a King County issue? I mean, I don't know, but it's not an increase in excise tax. It's just a reapportionment, and we could add accounting overhead to it as well.
We can talk about it more in our legislative meeting on Monday, but it's good to have a heads up on these bills.
Yeah.
Other comments or questions? Okay, looks like you're off the hook early.
Thanks, councilors.
So we do have 2 executive sessions. And Leslie, I don't know if you saw that one email about our last group, whether we had the RCW correct. I think I had forwarded you that email. I just draw your attention to it. But we have 7.1 collective bargaining for 10 minutes, and then 7.2 pending litigation, RCW 42.30.110, paren 1, paren sub I. And that's for 20 minutes. So a total of 30 minutes. We're almost exactly on the half hour. Since we went so quickly through this, why don't we plan on coming back right at 2? So we'll recess from this proceeding and go into executive session.
Chair has asked to extend executive session for 10 minutes, and the council will be coming back at 12:10. Thank you. Hello, and I apologize. The council will be coming back at 2:10. Thank you.
All right, we're back in session. We had our executive session with lawyers present. There's no action to be taken at this point, so we are adjourned.